We're gonna go ahead and get started here. So if you'll all stand and join me in the pledge of allegiance. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. We have no good news was submitted, so we'll move on to reports, and that would be me. So the day on the Hill was the last couple of days. It's very interesting to watch where they put some of these bills and you start wondering, why is this going here when it has no influence through that committee? It also gave us a chance to talk to several legislatures, or legislators, I should say, on a numerous amounts of things that are affecting us. Our presence did affect their calendar. They intentionally moved House Bill 93 in the Senate from a floor vote today to tomorrow because all the superintendents and the trustees that were there present and they knew what we stood on it. So we all got a good chuckle out of that. Some of the things that came up is they're talking about bringing back strategic improvement plans. Keeping the standards the same where they're at right now. And ISBA is starting to offer some training on that. So if that comes to fruition, I think that would be a good thing for us. That's all we've got. Superintendent report.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, a couple of things kind of on that same line. One of the big issues that they were trying to hash out was student transportation. The way money had been reimbursed to districts, there was question at the State Department on how the code actually read. And so there was a concern that transportation was going to be cut pretty substantially to all districts. But they've been able to work that out. I anticipate we'll probably see either stay the same or a slight decrease in transportation funding, but not as drastic as they had planned. So that's positive. And the other thing that's really up in there right now is the funding formula and what that's going to look like for next year. There's a couple of different versions going around right now. And I'll be honest, I have no idea what's going to stick and what's not. The big emphasis is weighted student funding. So districts would receive weighted funding for special education students, migrant students. Some of those kind of line items, but at the cost of eliminating some of our discretionary funding. So think of it this way, you're not going to increase funding, you're just going to allocate funding out of what is currently discretionary into those weights, which in special ed creates initiatives. Now you're creating an ongoing maintenance of effort issue by doing that. So they still have a lot to work out with that. And then obviously, trustee we talked about the voucher bill that is going to go through at some point with it. And so those are kind of things from the State House. The big one for us, I know Levi sent this out already, was this month's enrollment. And we are down. We're down to COVID level enrollment. And we're going to kind of keep this in perspective. So if we eliminate COVID enrollment time, which we know there are a lot of kids that were out during that, we're actually down to about 2016 levels of enrollment. We're about 3,500 kids. This is not unique to us. Outside of West Ada and Valley View District, in the Valley and going east, most districts are seeing declining enrollment. And it's simply just because people aren't having kids like they used to. So as the state population increases, doesn't necessarily mean that student population is going to increase. So I think it's just more on why we have to be really diligent in staffing and how we implement some of the things we're trying to do and how we budget. And so, you know, hopefully at some point, I'd like to tell you there's a bottom somewhere there, but I don't know that there will be. So the other influence on this, as you might have read on a couple of these things, but Pocatello had 3 charter schools open up. And as a result of that, they have voted as a board to close one of their neighborhood elementary schools. And that's something that you're seeing in communities. Twin Falls has had a couple of charter schools open up. The Twin Falls School District is now down to 2009 enrollment. And so it's, you know, there's a combination of forces and factors that are in play there. So I just think we have to be really conservative in how we budget. Any staffing adjustments we make are going to be made through attrition. I think we're in a good place with that. And that's kind of how we'll view these is we may have the resignations and retirements that come in that are on hold until later to determine movement that we have in the picture. So just wanted to give you an update on that, and I'd be happy to answer any questions that you might have.
But one thing that they did talk about was, I guess there's $50 million that hasn't been line item yet. That they're saying, well, since they pretty sure the voucher goal is going to pass, mainly because Saturday, a tweet went out that said Idaho is doing great things with vouchers.
Yeah.
Before that, they said they had the votes to kill it.
Yeah.
So they're hoping to go after that 50 million to get it into the schools for special ed for some other areas. And I know that with Secretary Crutchfield's thing she wants to do with her proposal with collapsing line items, she's talking about keeping us whole for 2 years.
But I think that trustee Bingham, the concern of that keeping whole is the part it doesn't take into account is inflation.
Right.
And so they keep you whole at the funding level as the cost of everything goes up. And so it's really not keeping you whole, but it sounds good to the public, right? So, yes.
Moving on, trustee engagement reports. Anybody?
I had the privilege of working with a high school teacher, just on some input that she needed, board related issues and things like that. I helped her with, so it was fun.
I had the privilege of going out to Stevenson and over to North to do a Flags for First Graders program, 48 last week, and that was enjoyable. They came up with some really interesting questions for that. Had multiple engagements with several legislatures, as I was saying earlier, on multiple bills and things that they're working on that will have a drastic impact on us if something gets passed. I did get a Freedom of Information Act packet that was requested by William Lamb. He was looking into charter schools coming back. That's rearing its head again. I've been assured from some public officials that it's not being driven by the city. So I would hope that Marty's been told at the base not to be doing this as well, because he's the one that's all over it in the email correspondence. That's all I have for that. Do we have any public input? Where?
Albert is today. So
Albert's out. Yes. So who's my Albert there? Yeah. No.
So to the statement.
Okay, so at this time, we'll move on to approval of the agenda and the addendums. And can motion on that?
That's so moved. Second.
All in favor? Aye. Consent agenda. If anybody needs anything pulled out or for discussion, if not, I'll take a motion to approve that.
Second.
All in favor? We have no delegations. All right, Mr. Johnson, you're up. ELA curriculum purchase update. I thought we approved this.
Well, what you got?
You did with the caveat.
Uh, you busted the budget.
The word was
Yes.
inflation.
So, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, at the last meeting, I had permission to spend $400,000, not over. Spent a lot of time going back and forth. We got to like $404,000, but it was bare bones. And it didn't include EL, resources, special ed resources, intervention resources. And that's just not a reality. We have kids below basic, we need to have those. So in your board packet, I put the kind of the breakdown of core curriculum is this much. It went back up because we were like, we were going bare bones. So it's slightly over the $400,000, and then I broke it out by each one of those, like EL and special ed, then the intervention components, professional development, that's the whole gamut. And we have different funding sources that we can use for that. Then broke it down by each vendor. Wonders is K4, just as a reminder. Amplify is strictly at Hacker. And then finally, I broke it down by funding sources. So I've talked to multiple districts. Our EL population's higher than a lot of people. Our special ed is higher than a lot of people. They didn't think anything was out of whack. Everybody on the state approved list actually has to commit to state funding. So whether you're West Ada or you're Bruno Grandview, you get the same pricing like on student text, teacher text. So it's not like we're getting a bad deal. It kind of feels like a used car salesman a little bit. They give you a % of free resources, and that's where we started dickering back and forth on the whole. Well, can you move that from an intervention to the core curriculum to get under the 400,000? And it's really a shell game at that point of like, well, yeah, we can, but then the intervention is going to cost. So long story short, it went over what I was anticipating by quite a bit. And asking your approval to move forward with this adoption.
425,749.17.
So that comes out of the state special distribution.
Okay, so you're looking for the 700, you're looking for 700,000.
Yeah, so then the general fund, just so you know, the special distribution is literacy money, which is K-3. So that's where the big part is. So that's not general fund. And then general fund is the Amplify, 5th and 6th, and then 4th grade. Wonders. Big chunk of change. I totally acknowledge that. And that is over 6 years. They had a 7-year option. I was like, no, we're good.
And licensing also 6 years.
Digital and then textbooks, and that's one of the things I took out of it. So we have a bubble group in 2nd grade. I think it's 335. And so typically you'd want to prepare for them so that like as they go through, you're not like, oh, I'm short 35 student textbooks or whatnot. But what we've gone with is this online licenses, which are important and we can add. But you always have lost textbooks, this or that, and so then we separated it back out of like, we'll address this as we go. And we can buy the lost textbooks it was about half the cost versus saying, okay, let's plan for this 335 to go all the way through. We'll address that as we go through.
We'll have everything by beginning of the school year next year.
Yeah, Wonders, the K-4 is actually already in Caldwell. So that's fantastic. Darren there pre-ordered everything and I'm like, hey, there's no guarantee, like the board can say no. And he's like, no, there's enough people that use Wonders that I'll do that. Amplify, they have a 3rd edition coming out, the latest, which it was like, that's a no-brainer. We want the latest. May is when that is available. So that's gonna be cutting it short. The rep has guaranteed me they could ship it directly to us for, I think, $30-some thousand. But we want it to go there, and then Mr. Fish and his crew are kind enough that they will go pick it up and save us that 36, because they have to send it to the warehouse for free. And then our maintenance people will pick it up and save us a lot of money.
So is the total 560 or is it 700 that Ralph is coming up with?
It's 700 and
I'm missing that part.
No.
Down at the bottom, 425.
it's under 700. It's like
650.
60 or something like that.
So it's the cost breakdown by funding sources.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was looking at the total cost for the breakdown. Yeah.
Now, here's the good news. We have literacy funds this year, but that is part of the discussion and funding formula is to get rid of the literacy funds. So this is the ideal year to do this.
Right, yeah.
And so once we pay this 650-ish, good for 6 years, we're not paying anything more out.
No.
Other than kids and some textbooks.
Right. And that number does include the PD, which that can be removed to go to Title II funds. I just gave you the big old gamut here of.
The great news.
Yeah. Great.
Well, I think that, you know, my personal thoughts are to do it bare bones is not the way to go. That's harder on staff. Because they have to make up what you don't give them anyway. They have to do it on their own. That's not what we're after here. You know, I'm all for it. Want to help you.
It's either that or Jeff writes the curriculum, so.
Well, that is a good point, because Journeys is done. Our current thing, it's no longer supported.
Yeah,
No book buying company will take it because it's done.
Yeah.
So if I can throw that on there, we were trying to give at parent teacher conferences, give everything away so we don't have to just throw it away, like rather have books in kids' hands, but there's like 4 used book people and none of them would take it. So it's not like we could sell it and recoup any money because they were like, no, this program's dead.
yeah.
I'll make a motion to approve the curriculum purchase.
Okay, I'll second it.
We got a motion with a second, all in favor? Hands against it, congratulations, it's yours.
Oh, geez. Thank you very much.
You need to get a hold of him tomorrow. It'll be in June.
It was canceled.
Okay, he'll come
Oh.
back. He'll be back next month. Well, you know, something changed on
No,
those.
no, we're good.
Hurry up and sign the paper.
Right, okay, out of district open enrollment. We're doing one at a time, or can we do them all at once?
We can do them all at once. Mr. Chairman, members of the board, you have 3 out of district open enrollment applications. These are for the 25-26 school year. No issues again with any of these. Just a reminder that if it's approved, parents are required to provide transportation to and from school on these. So I would ask for your approval of the 3 open enrollment applications that we have in the packet this month.
I don't know, have a motion on the students who close will remain on file.
So we're, second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes,
I'm sorry, regarding out of district open enrollments, they've also incorporated, new law that if students been approved for out of district open enrollment for 2 or more years.
they're automatically done
Yes.
continuously, yeah.
So we have more than these students as a district, but they've been in our school district.
All right, thank you. Levi, approval of the auditor.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, ask that we use Harris CPAs for the FY25 audit.
You like them? You've
Yes.
used them for quite a while now.
Yep.
Anybody got any issues with Harris? Entertain a motion on that?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion approved, moving on. That means we gotta do a budget workshop. So are you proposing May 6th?
Yes,
When are we anticipating? I know money, depending on when money drops, are you gonna be able to be good with that?
we always try to set it for like the 1st of May, and then if things change, we can always move it ahead.
We should be good by then. Typically, you would think the session would be done right about spring break. They'll do about state forms updated a couple weeks after that. So unless something goes crazy over there and go longer than the end of March, we should be good.
Anybody have a conflict with that? No issue?
Not that I'm aware of. That's a long.
I know. Here it is, I'll take a motion on that as well. So,
Second.
all right, Sharon, just pick one.
You can just do it.
All in favor?
I'll just second.
All right, all in favor? All right, motion carried, moving on. Budget hearing, so we got the workshop and the hearing, I take it this is just before the board meeting that day?
yes.
We'll take a motion on it first, I guess, before we vote.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Alright, so those are good. You want the meal price increase for the students too, right? Same day?
Yes.
Okay. We all good with 5:45 for that on that day?
Yes.
Okay, so we'll take a motion on that.
Second.
All in favor? Sounds good. Levi, the minivan, the minibus.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, we have a minibus that we're looking to dispose. So as we upgrade our fleet, we'll start getting rid of the buses that we currently have. So I ask that you approve the disposal of bus number 4.
But we've replaced it, so we still have 4 working ones.
Yeah, so currently we have 6. We have another one in order. So then this one right here, when we sell it, that might go to the one that we have on order.
Okay.
The new one should be here mid-August.
We'll take a motion on that.
I so moved.
Second,
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, moving on, special board meeting for March 18th. That's dealing with our for interviews for possible interviews for the replacement.
I might have a conflict, but I won't know.
Okay.
can we move the interviews up a few days?
So,
I still would have conflict.
I believe it's just before the regular board meeting.
Well, it is just before the regular board meeting on the 18th. We
yeah,
once said the 11th, I think.
I thought we had said the 11th.
But that was the special.
That's what this is.
Yeah, I just put you on your family.
Does the 11th work for you, fine?
Tuesday.
Oh, wait, Tuesday doesn't work for me. So the 12th, that's what the problem was.
The 12th does not work for me.
13th.
I can do the 13th. You do the 15th, sir?
Yeah, I guess so.
Lonnie, can you do the 13th?
Could be sketchy.
The 10th is available. You want to do it that
Right.
Monday?
I'm out of town the 10th of the
Okay.
Oh, this is great.
year.
You in town on the 7th,
Yes,
right?
I'm in town on the 7th.
Mhm. That work.
Okay, so it sounds like it'll be the 7th. Huh?
could we do it earlier in the day?
What time?
3?
I could be here by 4:30.
Oh.
4:30?
Anytime works for me.
You good with 4:30? We'll schedule for 4:30 on the 7th. You good with that, Shannon?
Yes.
Okay, we'll make a motion on that.
Wait, yeah, you said March 7th.
March 7th, that Friday.
So moved.
Second. And that's with the caveat pending number of applicants. All right.
Mr. Chairman, what's the cutoff for applicants? Not hold a special meeting.
Less than 3?
What you, okay. no. Because the applications are due fourth.
Right.
So do you want to use time to review and determine if you want to interview or?
How far out can we cancel it and still be legal?
Perspective, 24 hours.
I'd like to review before make that decision.
Okay.
So by Thursday, we'd have to make a decision.
Is that 7?
No, the 7th is Friday, the 6th is Thursday.
Okay.
So the 6th by 3 o'clock, we have to,
So we have to have open meetings for that.
Yeah.
To review it, so.
Open meeting to review the applications?
Because if you're making a decision to take an action to. Or an inaction, not, review. So if you wanna. Review and interview on 7, you're taking an action there. So you would probably, what I would recommend with this is maybe doing a phone call on the 5th. At whatever time works for everybody. All we have to have here is how many, one, right? One person here, and then it's just, do you wanna hold interviews or not hold interviews?
Right.
It's a one action item.
We do that on the 4th when we get the number, when we'll know the number of applicants.
Yeah,
That phone call?
I mean, unless you wanna, unless you want the application sent to you for review.
Well, except that still, that requires a motion of send it to you for review.
Right, but you can set that right now,
To send them the,
yes.
yeah,
But you'll send that.
well, the thing is that they're supposed to review it in open meeting. That's the thing.
If there's any discussion. Individually, a board member can, if it's,
So if we're not gonna do interviews, we can have the review and discussion during the regular meeting and make the appointment. Like we've done in the past, right?
So this will just strictly be to review it and no action will be taken.
other than yes or no for Friday. Is the action.
Will be the action on the phone call.
Or we could,
yeah.
if we have a meeting on, if we have a phone call on the 5th,
yeah,
and only one person has to be here,
Mhm.
which is 100 steps away, and I can be here. Anybody else can be here, too. So I would look at, we'd have a phone conversation on the 5th, which would give us plenty of time if we decided not to. Do interviews,
right.
Yeah.
and then we could cancel the meeting, because we can't, so at that point. Yeah, let's do, let's do that on the 5th, and then
What time on the 5th?
whatever time you guys want about it. And
The application's closed out at 5 o'clock on the 4th.
Mhm.
when you wanna do 4 or 5 on the 5th,
3 or 2 or
Like
1?
early. You can-
Or, yeah. 3 o'clock, 3 o'clock.
Yeah. You could maybe email some stuff, right?
Calendar reminder, please. All right. So we're legal now? Karen?
Yeah, so one person will be here for the phone call, but we still need the other ones on the phone.
Right, right.
We are, I'm sure. No decision to be made except whether or not you're gonna hold a special meeting.
Right.
It should be.
So moving on for executive session for possible action for
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, can we have a motion for the?
phone calls? All right. We'll take a motion for the phone call.
Make a motion that we do a phone call, for the applications for the open trustee seat. Wednesday, March 5th, at 3 o'clock.
Second.
All there.
Aye.
Moving on to executive session. Possible action personnel matter. I'll take a motion that we move into executive session.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Sharon, roll call please.
Trustee Knox, aye. Trustee Chris,
Aye.
trustee Donahue,
Aye.
and.
Aye. Oh, my paper, where's my paper? Everybody can leave but Jeff, we're gonna leave. Cause he wanted to leave early, so. Be it so resolved that the Board of Trustees of the School District number 193 recess from open meeting into the following executive sessions pursuant to Idaho Code Title 74, Chapter 2, Section 74-202, subsection 3, subsection 4, subsection C, 6, and A, open meeting, regular meeting, executive session, Section 74-204, subsection 3, open meeting, executive session, 74-06, subsection 1B, to consider the evaluation, dismissal, or disciplining of public school employee, Idaho Code. Be it further resolved that following the executive session, the Board of Trustees will convene into public session to further business or adjournment of the meeting. On the executive session.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. It's like it's something I'm gonna find now.